These are wild blackberries, and today I'm going to harvest a whole bunch to make blackberry juice. Blackberries are really easy to identify. They're very similar to raspberries. They grow on long, arcing vines, which are covered in thorns. They have compound leaves with 5 leaflets. Occasionally, the younger leaves will only have 3, but they can have up to 7. And even the leaves have thorns on the underside, and they can really stick to your clothes, so you kind of have to be careful when you harvest these. Unlike raspberry stems, which are round, blackberry stems are pentagonal with 5 distinct flat sides, but that may be difficult to see on the younger stems. They usually like to grow in shady forests, but you can find them growing in nice sunny fields. They can form these dense clusters, which are often called briars or brambles. They're sometimes considered a weed or even an invasive species. They have large white flowers with 5 big white petals that bloom in late spring and early summer. And they usually grow in large spires, which then produce fruit. And the fruit will start off green and then turn to white and red as they ripen. And when they're fully ripe, they're dark purple, almost black. You'll start to see ripe fruit in mid to late summer. And they're at their peak when they're just slightly soft, which you'll be able to feel. They will eventually become too soft and can fall apart as you pick them. And their juice goes from sweet to fermented. And if you harvest a whole bunch of them, your fingers will actually get stained purple, but that'll wash off really easily. Here in Minnesota, we also get wild red raspberries and black raspberries. And you can usually tell them apart right away by the size. Blackberries are much larger plants. But if you look closer, red raspberries have little hair-like thorns, and black raspberries have little triangular thorns along the stem with a white glaucous coating, which can make the green stems look blue and the red stems appear purple. Raspberry flowers are much smaller. Their clusters of fruit are a little bit smaller, like little bunches. And the fruit release like a little hat. They have a little hollow bit at the center of the fruit, whereas blackberries release as part of the stem, and they take a little bit of that stem with them. But you don't really notice that when you eat the fruit. These wild blackberries are a lot smaller than store-bought, but they still taste great, and you can use them to make pies and tarts, jams, jellies, and even wine. Sweet berry wine. I usually just graze on the berries as I walk through the park. But today I wanted to try something new. So I harvested a whole bunch to make blackberry juice. Blackberries are about 90% water, so they're just begging to be juiced. And I had to harvest a whole bunch of these to get a decent amount of juice. I saw online some people recommended that you boil them to extract the juice, but I was a little worried that would change the flavor, so I chose to blend them in a blender on low, just to break the berries open. And I've also added just a little water to help that process along. Then I strained out the seeds with the finest strainer I have. This took a little bit more time than I expected, but it was done in about 5 minutes. And I was left with this rich, dark juice and a whole bunch of seeds left over. The juice is a beautiful dark purple. It kind of reminded me of pomegranate, but it tasted more like blueberries. Just slightly sweet, nice and fruity. Oh, wow. And I tried to make pancakes with the seeds, but they were a little bit distracting because I kept crunching on them. So if I were going to do that again, I would want to possibly blend them to break them apart. But I used the leftover juice to make a little simple syrup by just adding a little bit of sugar and then reducing it on the stove until it was a nice thick syrup. And that was really good. I think I do prefer just snacking on the berries as I walk through the park. But this was a really fun project. So I hope you keep an eye out for blackberries next time you're out in the nature. If you enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments or with a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.